guys, this lesson is going to be about multiples and factors. It'll be for all grades. The last step, prime factors, will be only for grade 7, but we'll get to that. So multiples, as the word sounds like multiply. So for example, if we think about the 2 times table, if we're counting in 2s, it would be 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. Now remember, numbers carry on forever. They're infinite. So that's why we put the 3 dots. Now, the multiples we indicate with an M for multiple. So let's say we want to do the multiples of 5. We say the M for multiple of 5. We put a colon, and then we count in 5s. So we will say 5, 10, 15, 20. We do put 3 dots to show that we know that the numbers carry on infinitely, but I mean, we can't write all the multiples of 5. It's also important to note that between the numbers, we put a semicolon. The reason for that is, let's say we put 5, 10. This looks very different. This looks like 5, 10, as opposed to 5 and 10. So that's rather important to put a semicolon in between the numbers. That's the first thing. The second thing is, we generally put the first 4 multiples and then the 3 dots to show that they carry on. But let's say your question asked for the first 6 multiples of 2. Then again, you would write the M for multiples. You're going to show me you're counting in 2s, and then you will write the first 6. So you would go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. In this case, I wouldn't put the dots because they are specifically for the first 6 multiples. Let's try a few more. I'm reminding you that multiple sounds like multiply. So 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, and so on. So we are literally counting in that number. Let's try one more. The multiples of 6 would be 6, 12, 18, 24, and I would put 3 dots to show that they carry on infinitely. That is multiples. It sounds like multiply, so we are counting in that number. Now, often in maths, opposites work together, like plus and minus, multiply and divide. Now, multiples was for multiplication, so naturally factors will be division. Now, this is very important. For a factor of a number, that number must divide into a number without a remainder. For example, if we take the factors of 3, again, we write an F for factors, and we are going to be working with the number 3. Now, factors always work in pairs. So we always see what numbers can divide into this number without a remainder. So we will always start with 1, because 1 can divide into all numbers without a remainder. So 3 is our number we're working with. So number 1 can divide into 3 without a remainder. Again, we will put a semicolon to show the next number. Now, like I said, factors work in pairs. 1 times what will give us 3? 1 times 3. Now, 3 can divide into 3 without a remainder. 2 can't, because there will be a remainder of 1. If we take the number 6, for example, so again we write F for factor. Remember, factor is dividing. So the factors of 10, we always start with 1, because 1 can divide into all numbers. So 1 can divide into 10 without a remainder. Now, what times 1 will give me 10? 10. 1 times 10 will give me 10. So I write the 10. What is the next number that can divide into 10 without a remainder? We try the next number, 2. 2 times 5 will give me 10. 3 can't divide into 10 without a remainder because it's 3, 6, 9, 12. So 3 can't work. 4 can't work either because 4, 8, 12. 5 goes into 10 twice, but we've already written the 5. So we are finished with the factors of 10. Factors always work in pairs. This is important. 1 and 10, 2 and 5. In other words, 1 times 10 will give me 10. 2 times 5 will give me 10. So it's easy to work in pairs. That way you make sure that you don't miss some of the factors. An interesting one that I also just want to show you is if we look, for example, at the factors of 36. Right. What is the first number that can divide into all numbers? 1. 1 times what will give me 36? 36. The second number that can divide into 36 is 2. 2 times 18 will give me 36. 3 will divide into 36. 3 times 12 will give me 36. 4 will divide into 36. 4 times 9. Now 5 can't go into 36 without a remainder, but 6 can. 6 times 6 is 36. But we only write the 6 once. We don't repeat numbers in the factors. But again, remember, factors work in pairs. So 1 times 36 will give us 36. 2 times 18 will give us 36. 3 times 12 and 4 times 9 will give us 36. Remember, if you get to the middle and you must write the factor pairs, you will write 6 and 6 because 6 times 6 will give us 36. That is multiples and factors, and that will be for grade 4 to 6. The next step I'm going to show you are prime factors, and that is for grade 7. Now, before we can look at prime factors, we must remember that a prime number, and that's why it's important to know your factors. So a prime number, remember, has only 2 factors. 1 and itself. Now what does that mean? If we take the number 5, for example, if we want to write the factors of 5, there are only 2 numbers that divide into 5. It's 1 and 5. So it is a prime number because it only has 2 factors, 1 and itself. If we look at example at the number 4, the factors of 4 are 1, 2 and 4. So it is not a prime number because it has more than 2 factors. All right, so a prime factor are factors that are only prime numbers. All right. So that is important. A prime number only has 2 factors, 1 and itself. Now let's look at the number 6, for example. The factors of 6 would be 1 and 6. Remember, we work in pairs. 2 and 3. Those are the factors of 6. Now, which of these numbers are prime numbers? 2 is a prime number because the factors are 1 and 2. 3 is a prime number because it only has 2 factors, 1 and 3. So the prime factors for 6 will be 2 and 3. I hope you found this useful. You are welcome to contact me if you need any more information, but that's a wrap on factors and multiples.